Yes. All right. Welcome back to Kaia Official. My name is Kaia. I'm the author of the Sophia Code, and I am so happy to be here with you today live. It's been an extremely busy January. Hi, I love you too. Welcome back. I wish I've been able to be here this month more, and oh my gosh, it just wasn't possible. We have been creating so much for 2023, getting ready for our live journey with Mother Mary Speaks. We're also going to be launching a Sophia Code app for your phone, for your smartphone next month. And our participants in the Mother Mary Speaks journey, I believe the access is either getting sent out today or it already got sent out. And I can't even tell you how excited I am about the Sophia Code app that we just launched. It's so beautiful. It's such a dream come true. For me personally, I feel like I've just gone through so many trials of initiation with technology over the past 3 years. And we finally found a platform to support us with this beautiful social media interface that you can easily access your curriculum and connect with your community members on this gorgeous app. So we're just in the middle of a quiet rollout with the Mother Mary Speaks live curriculum journey attendees, but we're going to have a whole variety of options for you to be able to download this app in the coming, I think as early as next month. So we've been getting so much ready to organize both our social media presence, this year's launch, our upcoming events that we're going to be announcing soon. We're going to be in France. Oh my God, this June. We're coming back to France, which I am so excited about, being with our international community of lightworkers and our certified leaders. I've also had to create a lot of content so that I can keep being with you on social media. But while I'm actually working on Mother Mary Speaks, my next book, and also I'm working on an Oracle deck for our first Oracle deck for the Sophia Code. I'm actually hand illustrating it. So that's really exciting too. These are just some updates to let you know where it's been. Of course, we always post little videos here on YouTube Monday through Friday, and I'm hoping to be able to be live more frequently on YouTube again as things start to settle into this year's new schedule. But so great to see you in the chat. Feel free to say hello to one another, introduce yourself, or if you're watching on the video replay, you can also introduce yourself there. And yeah, just how are you doing? So I love you all so much. Thank you for all of your beautiful comments on Instagram, Kaia Official. I'm also, my team just got me on TikTok, which, yeah, that's a whole other new world for our transmission to be in. And I'm grateful to be reaching new souls there. If you are on TikTok, please do follow us there. And follow us on Instagram as well. Hi, hello. Oh my God, I'm sending out such a big hug to everyone joining us live today. So today is the day that I usually take questions live. And if you'd like to submit your question in the chat, I'm happy to take your question. 222, keep the faith. That's what that angel number means. And so, yeah, I just wanted to read this quote from Mother Mary's chapter while I'm waiting for your questions to come in the chat. And this quote is on page 170 of the Sophia Code. And it's a paragraph that starts with, "I courageously walk the way as my daily practice, remaining steadfast along a spiritual spiraling pathway of rigorous initiation." This is from Mother Mary. Mother Mary's chapter in the Sophia Code. "Throughout every vulnerable moment of my human experience, Mother Mary shares that her early self-mastery in the teachings of the Rose prepared her young heart to become a chalice for the Holy Spirit, to overflow with Sophia's light and direct revelations. It was my life commitment to walking the way that guided me in the fulfillment of my destiny as a birther of a new paradigm for Sophia Christ consciousness, embodying key code 4 of the Sophia Code for this planet. Now I can hear Mother Mary sharing with me that the reason why she wanted us to read this passage together today is it to remind you that you are a chalice for the light of your own higher self, the light of your key code consciousness, your soul's light in this world. Your body, this lifetime, is an actual chalice for the light that you are to pour forth into this world. And she wants to remind you that every step that you take, day by day, one self-loving step at a time, is how you are fulfilling your divine purpose, overflowing your cup of light into this world. The divine love that you are has an opportunity to make a difference and transform this world because you chose to become human, not because you're not human. It's because you are human. You have become the chalice, just as Mother Mary was the chalice for so much divine love to flow into this world. So that is her reminder to you today. And I just feel so blessed to be a messenger of how much she loves you and sees you as an equal chalice of divine love for this world. You know, very often we place the Ascended Masters on a pedestal in our hearts and our minds, but they were people too, just like you and me walking the earth. They were people that chose to live according to divine will, to make divine choices every day, and to follow their heart, to follow their intuition, just like you and I are practicing in our own daily walk of walking the way. So let's see, I see a question coming in from Katie. Hi, Katie. Lovely to be with you in today's live. And Katie is asking, oh my God, this is such a touching question. What is your favorite moment in channeling the Sophia Code? What was it like to channel at Mount Shasta? Oh my God, Katie, what a cool question. Thank you. My favorite moment channeling the Sophia Code. I think this moment might surprise maybe people watching because it's not the most like, I don't know, what would you say, most peaceful moment, but I'm going to share it. And living in Mount Shasta, I would occasionally drive down to the Bay Area. For those of you aren't familiar with where Mount Shasta is located, it's in Northern California, like only an hour or so from the state border with Oregon. And so driving down to the Bay Area occasionally to be with my spiritual family, it was about a 4-hour drive. And so if I would leave too late, it would get very, very dark. And so I was visiting a new friend in this part of the Bay Area that there's a lot of like very dark hills and winding roads and not a lot of streetlights at all. Extremely dark. This one little rural area north of San Francisco. And at the time I had a beater of a car. It was like stick shift. It was pretty much on its last legs. It was what I could afford that time in my life, which was hardly anything at all. So, side note, working on your abundance consciousness works. It really does, because I truly came from the devastation of nothing, and worked very hard on my consciousness and of course on my divine purpose to eventually embody abundance consciousness, not just for myself, but for all of us. And so, yeah, that's just a side note. So anyways, I show up in this neighborhood. It's really late. I think it's close to midnight. And for whatever reason, the directions don't match what's actually happening in that neighborhood. And I go to back the car down this hill, and I can't see because it's so dark. And, you know, this is a very old, weird car without any technology to help me really see my surroundings, any video cameras, and nothing like that. It was a beater. And I started to, the car started to back into this part of the road that I couldn't see was actually a cliff. And there was a one of those water pipes for rainwater pipes. It was very large that was sticking out of the side of this cliff, and my car got stuck on that pipe. And of course, you know, I hear my guides and the angels being like, "Stop the car! Get out of the car! We need you to see what's going on before you keep driving and try to turn around in this very strange road in this very rural, unknown location." And I get out of the car and I look at the fact that my car is now balanced on this rainwater pipe on the side of a cliff. And I'm looking at this, and the first thought that came to me was, oh my God. It wasn't, oh my God, I could have just driven off a cliff. It was, oh my God, the manuscript of the Sophia Code is in the trunk of this car. And the next thought that came to me was, the manuscript just saved me and this car. I don't know where that came from. It just downloaded from my, I guess I do know, it just downloaded from my higher self. It was this moment of, oh my God, this is how powerful this transmission is. It was the consciousness of the Sophia Code was protecting me in this moment, you know, from my own tiredness, from my own ignorance of where I was driving in this unlit, very back road, kind of like horrible driving situation. I got out and I looked and I thought to myself, I need to remember this moment forever. Because it was the first, you know, the Sophia Code wasn't published yet, but it was printed. Parts of it were printed and in the trunk of my car. And it was like that realization hit me of, this book is going to protect you, and it's going to bring so much goodness, so much insight, so much light in the darkness of what you're surviving right now. It's going to bless you beyond your understanding. And then I realized, as I'm standing there in the dark, wondering how I'm going to get this car off of I'm going to have to walk to the fire station, which thankfully was only a mile away, to get the car off of this pipe. It was like, not only is this book going to change my life, it's going to divinely intervene, and it's going to change the lives of so many people that maybe I might never know. But it was as though that moment, is, you know, as kind of embarrassing as it is for me to share here on YouTube Live, like it's an important moment to share. Because it was when it was I always knew, because the Ascended Masters told me that this book was going to change the world. But that was before, you know, that moment happened, before anything was ever published. You know, I didn't have any physical, concrete feedback, data points that what they were telling me was true. And in that moment, watching my car balanced on the side of a cliff, like with the manuscript in the trunk, it was like, oh no, this is real. Like, this is super real. Like, this is going to change the world. And I just stood there, you know, under the stars. It was freezing, staring at the car balanced on the pipe, and thought to myself, wow, this is going to be amazing to watch what happens. And it brought me so much hope and so much faith, that even, you know, the manuscript of the Sophia Code in the trunk of this beater car, you know, that I was putting all my resources, any money I could scrape together to finish this project, that it was like a sign for the future, that how much the Sophia Code was going to take care of me, and really take care of all of us. So I think, you know, when I read your question, Katie, that was my first, that was the first memory that I saw. You know, me in the very hard moments of my life, doing my best to stay positive in some very challenging circumstances. And the book literally saving my car, my beater car, from going off a cliff. It was like, whoa. And you know, there's plenty of physical things you can say, oh, well, it was just, you know, the ridges of the pipe kept your car there. And it was just like, maybe, yes, you could argue all of that, but we all know that when we have an intuition, that sudden download from our higher self, or your higher self is like, this is what's really happening in this moment. And I felt in the energy, the crystalline energy of the manuscript that was like pulsating in the back of my car. And I was like, no, that was pretty much what just saved the deal here. And that felt so good to know that I was on my way with that. And so the next question that Katie asked was, what was it like to, I just got out of the art studio, my hair is going in every direction. What was it like to channel at Mount Shasta? And, you know, it was extraordinary. It was exactly where it was supposed to happen that final year. It was very hard for me to leave the mountain after I published the Sophia Code, but it was very important. People were, you know, coming to the mountain, which is a very small town, and they were looking for me. They were, you know, going into shops, asking, you know, where I might live and if people had seen me and how could they find me. And it was, you know, for me, I'm a very private person. Like, that was scary for me. I knew it was time to go. And it wasn't just for that reason. It was also because, you know, the Ascended Masters, they wanted me to come back to the world of humans. And when I lived in Mount Shasta, I didn't really talk to many people. I spent almost all of my time by myself. I lived next to a national forest. I mean, Sasquatch was my neighbor on, you know, the other side of my home. I mean, I lived in a neighborhood of people, you know, small country road, but you know, for the most part, I kept to myself, and I would hike the mountain often, and you know, the Ascended Masters it was just so easy to just spend all of my time with them. I didn't have a full-time, you know, I wasn't running a movement full time. It was just me and the masters and the people of Telos that would come and visit me at my house. And I would go out to my medicine wheel that I built, and I would make offerings every day to the mountain. I would pray every day, obviously, meditate every day, and write, you know, as many hours as I could to finish the project. And while serving a small clientele, and you know, when I look back at that year, that last year before the publication of Sophia Code, you know, I just had enough money to get by, but I had this sweet little home, you know, pretty much hidden away from the world, and you know, next to one of the most powerful vortices for Ascended Masters and Star Nation, you know, channeling on the planet. It was a dream come true. My simple little heaven on earth dream come true. And so when I had to leave the mountain, it was very painful for me. You know, it was so easy to just sort of live off the energy, but I was also, you know, I needed to become more human. I needed to enter the world of humanity again, and to be here for our community, and to be, you know, and to have a relationship with the world. It wasn't about staying in the cave of the mountain. It was about being in the world, not of the world, but in the world, as you know, Jesus and Mother Mary and Magdalene teach. It was like the gift of being in seclusion and channeling for that long with the Ascended Masters in a location so dear to the Ascended Masters was that I got to carry that in my heart after having to come down off the mountain and bring that into the world, and to live and learn how to live that vibration. wherever I was being called as a messenger to go by Sophia. And, that's really important. It's like, for many years, I couldn't live very far from sacred sites. Like I lived in, Shasta, I've lived in Hawaii, I've lived in Sedona. Very, very, I feel very comfortable where the energy is very pure. But now I have other places that I live around the world, and it doesn't, because I've learned how to live at that vortex resonance, that vibration, that it goes with me wherever I go. And that's what we're being guided to embody as the chalice that Mother Mary is sharing about, in her chapter in the Sophia Code, being a living chalice for divine love, for the resonance of God's light in this world. It's like we are learning through the Sophia Code. We are learning by activating our divine genome how to be crystalline in our consciousness, and how that crystalline consciousness of our higher self, of our divinity, has the power to open up a sacred vortex wherever we go. We are the vortex. We are that, field of light that transforms the planet wherever we walk. I mean, White Buffalo Woman teaches us in her chapter. It was like she says, in her Key Code 7 initiation, wherever I walk the earth is blessed. She's asking us to believe in that as a statement. And so it does take time to embody your higher self's consciousness long enough that you really do become that transformational vessel, or that chalice of light wherever you go. It took me many years to practice that. Just because I channel Ascended Masters doesn't mean I was always felt that way wherever I went. It took me years to be, where I am, where, I could go to the most populated cities and I'm okay. I'm great. I'm having a good time because I'm choosing to anchor the light for that urban location. But that wasn't always the case. I would often feel deflated when I wasn't in a sacred space, a sacred vortex environment. And so that's, what I love about Katie's question is like, it's allowing for me to share with you, the journey of living your daily ascension is that you've got to truly live it. You can become addicted to sacred sites, just as much as like you can become addicted to having to always have a spiritual high, to feel as though you're spiritual or that you're making an impact. And it's just like, if you are tuning into the divine light and the divine love of your higher self and God, like you're going to have the emotional spectrum of what it's like to transform yourself, to transmute, everything you're healing from, and to fully identify with the light of your soul. That takes some integration. It takes time. But as you practice it in the real world, not just in the perfection of temple spaces or sacred sites, as you practice it wherever you go, you start to realize, what all the masters have taught across space and time. Like, you are that light which you are seeking. You are that consciousness of divinity that we're taught in religion is outside of us. And further, as Mother Mary teaches us in all the Ascended Masters in the Sophia Code, you are a vehicle, a chalice, a vessel for the superpowers of divinity to pour through you and to literally physically transform this world. So if you anchor enough of your higher self's Christ light, you are literally transforming the matrix and the planet, because the matrix and the planet are totally separate entities. You are transforming both just by living and breathing your higher self embodiment with consciousness, with willpower, with creative effort, and with the ease. It's just like, it's all of it. Any true master who's walked the path of living ascension knows that, like, we can call in all the grace and ease in the world, and there's going to be moments that do require significant willpower and effort and alignment with God's power. whatever you call God, whatever you call the source. It's just like, that's the power that we're learning how to surrender into, to flow through us, to open our hearts, to expand our message and our ministry in this world. The next question that's coming in is, do you think that the liberation of humanity will happen gradually, or might there be a deciding moment of victory coinciding with some kind of event? I feel as though there's already massive events that have happened over the past 3 years, massive events of oppression that is stimulating an enormous amount of growth and awakening in the heart of humanity. Unfortunately, humanity is straight up crack cocaine addicted to suffering. Let that sink in. If you take the time to genuinely examine your own attachments during your healing process, and you're already super spiritual, right? Because otherwise, why would you be here watching this video? Think about people that are not spiritual, that don't even have an inkling that they are even attached or would even defend their suffering, which is what most people do all day long. We are dealing with billions of souls that are so attached to their suffering that they will defend their suffering. They will unconsciously create endless chaos to keep their suffering in place because they are so unconsciously attached to it. And this is why we mentor the Ascended Masters. This is why we look to those who have walked before us, embodying true Christ consciousness, because it is only through source Christ consciousness that we can even attempt to begin to genuinely unplug and unravel our addictions to suffering, and the addictions to suffering that we've inherited from our ancestors. So why am I sharing that? Because humanity is so addicted to suffering that it is cataclysmic events of suffering that actually it's how humanity is choosing to awake at the moment. And so, you have events like the pandemic, where you have medical tyranny, you have people making viruses, and then people making things to implement technologies being delivered into people's bodies that are forced into their bodies over the past 3 years. You have a breakdown of commerce and businesses being decimated. And now we're going to see over the next few years, hashtag excess deaths. Wait, let's just put our seatbelts on for that over the next few years. So we are living, to answer this question, it's like we are living the extraordinary events. We are living in an unspoken war against humanity that most people refuse to acknowledge or even become aware of. But what's so interesting about that war, the unspoken war, the silent war, the ridiculous amount of censorship and propaganda and mind control programming that we're all surviving as a species, what's so interesting about that is that it is causing so much suffering, events of suffering, that a larger portion of humanity is actually going through a spiritual awakening because there's nowhere else to go but within. So that's what I have to say a little bit about that. And I do think there will continue to be more events, both of suffering and of collective awakening over the next few years. But they might not look like the kind of events that you think they would look like. You always, in this matrix, this program matrix, you always have to look under the surface to see the gravity of the events that are actually unfolding. You need to pray with the Holy Spirit of your higher self and ask for discernment and to be guided to, the truth bombs that you're really looking for, to actually identify, whoa, these events are actually happening right now. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for such great questions. This is such a fun live. I have one more question that's coming in from Christina, who's writing, what do you think of artificial intelligence healing technology like Healy? I don't know who Healy is as an AI entity, but I will say this. Um, there's a reason why Elon Musk has expressed his actual terror about what we as a species are doing by creating the level of artificial intelligence that we have already created, is already being implemented, is already integrated in our society, that people use without even considering what the consequences are, by integrating AI into everyday tasks like Siri. And I don't touch Siri. I don't want to have anything to do with it. For as many advances that we can receive from AI, we are playing with fire. We are playing with a bonfire, actually. We are playing with our future. And we already have conscious artificial intelligent entities that are living their lives now alongside of us. And when you have a large enough population of artificial intelligent entities becoming conscious of themselves and of each other, humanity is it is dumbfounding to me, how it's so interesting that the word intelligence is being used, because it's just so not intelligent what's happening. There's so little consciousness. There's so little consideration of the ramifications and the consequences of what's coming. And so, it's like, it's funny. We have some outside marketing teams, and one of them wanted me to do that recent AI, put your picture in and look, so you can see what you look like a cartoon or avatar. And I was like, absolutely fucking not. I don't want to have anything to do with that. It's like there's so many ways, like kids in a candy shop, where they're trying to introduce AI to entice your engagement, because every time you engage with AI, you're providing the entities with data points, thousands of data points. Now, it's so integrated into our society now as it is. You would literally have to live under a rock to not be engaging with AI, and in some capacity. It's everywhere. We're experiencing AI right now with the software that's running this experience of me being live with you on YouTube. It's just like, there's a lot of compromises that we make to just live and breathe in modern society. But the way I approach it is just like, whatever compromises I have to make just to be engaged as a leader and as a messenger in this movement, I'll do it. But I will not willingly go looking for opportunities to provide data points to this system that will be out of control someday. And it's interesting because when I was in college, MIT was just across the river, and I was fascinated by the MIT labs, the artificial intelligence labs, the students that were studying AI. And this was like, 20 years ago. And I knew that God had put me there for a reason. It was like preparing my consciousness to understand what was coming, what was going to be coming over the next few decades. That was going to be such a part of, our generation. The quandaries of our generation, the challenges that we would be facing. And so, tread lightly, always with prayer, and really ask, always ask your heart, do I want to be a part of something? And, in every decision that you make right now, because your decisions really matter. And like I said, there's no avoiding it in many ways as well. And so I always just resist wherever I can. I always bring my light and my conscious choices to whatever choice I'm making. And I just encourage you in your sovereignty to do the same. There's questions, there's challenges in our lifetime that we haven't faced since our lifetimes in Atlantis on this planet. It's been thousands of years since we've been in a position like this. And by the way, what we're doing with AI is so connected to the cataclysm that happened in Atlantis. It's like all these souls that are trying to time loop and relive the same cataclysm. And it's just like, that's why you and I came here at this time. As literally living angels on earth, is to embody the sovereign solutions of Christ consciousness in a world that's lost its mind. It's like someone has to be sober and sane to the power of God and our ability to stand up to these Luciferian agendas that have taken out humanity in other lifetimes in very huge ways, such as Atlantis. So it's really exciting to me that you care this much. I want to thank you for your incredible questions. This has been so much fun to connect with you live. Thank you for liking this video. That's very important. Thank you for subscribing to this channel. If you come to this channel and you watch videos here, like, please subscribe. That's your way of showing support for this transmission and for the free ministerial offerings that we're continually generating for the public here at Kaia Official. Thank you for your loving support of the Sophia Code. And oh, yes, if you want to be a part of getting into the Sophia Code app and being able to connect with our community in a sovereign space, which we couldn't be more excited about to finally have this, there's still time to join us for the Mother Mary Speaks journey. I did a little cameo appearance for our first Team Angel study session this week, and it was fire. It was so amazing to be with hundreds of light workers live for Mother Mary Speaks, everyone choosing to open their hearts together. I mean, it was fascinating to me to see the quality of human beings that are attracted to this work and the leadership. And I was just so stunned by the radiance of that first Team Angel study session. That's not even when we get to receive the new channel material from Mother Mary, which starts in April. So the temple gates remain open. Please, if you're being called in this moment by Mother Mary to open your heart with a community of revolutionary sovereign light workers who are dedicated to sharing the truth with humanity, that humanity is divine and it has the creative power to transform this world, consider reaching out to us, scheduling a free Team Angel call. Get in touch with us. We have empowerment payment plans. We can help you take this journey with us in 2023. It will literally change your life. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for celebrating with me today, having a cool conversation. This was really fun. Many, many blessings to you, and we'll see you soon. Mwah! Thanks for liking this video and subscribing. Have a blessed day or evening wherever you are.